From the unexplained to the mundane, come join us on a journey to the fringe. Hello and welcome to Journey to the Fringe, helping you be ready for the weirdest trivia night you could ever possibly be invited to. Don't worry, your hypothetical trivia team will surely be grateful, and you're welcome for that.
Such a good idea.
We are your podcast hosts, Taylor and Chelsea, here today to tell you about some natural phenomena plaguing the world. And Chelsea, I'm not going to start this off with the what we're talking about, but the where, for the most part, we'll be talking about. And that where is Bermuda in its triangle spot.
Okay, and what else is happening in this episode? You distracted me.
We have covered this episode in the past somewhat. Chelsea,
Yeah.
This was in season 2, early on. Episode title, Mysteries Come in Many Sizes But One Shape, where we covered the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, I remember that. I had COVID, I'm pretty sure.
You offhandedly kind of made a statement.
Right now? About having COVID?
Sorry, no, on that episode, where one of the explanations for things that happen in the Bermuda Triangle is electronic fog. And by golly, today's episode is on electronic fog.
What the hell? You just distracted me. I thought it was about the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, it is. But don't worry, we're going to get to all of this.
Oh, I'm confused. Okay, let's talk about it.
We're going to go over, first off, the common understanding of what electronic fog is, first-hand accounts of it, second-hand accounts of it, and importantly, what it actually is from there. Because, my God, is it something different from what the common understanding of it is.
Okay.
It's going to take a few turns from there.
Is this in the Bermuda Triangle or out?
It is most
in?
commonly noted in the Bermuda Triangle.
Okay. Can I guess at what it is?
Yeah, sure.
You know that snow on the TV? Does that happen anymore? Can you get snow on the TV anymore?
Well, no, but that's because we don't have analog channels anymore.
Okay. To me, it's stuff that makes up snow on the TV.
Okay.
Out in the wilds.
Okay.
That's electronic fog.
You do know that the stuff that makes up the snow on the TV is literally just everywhere, right?
It is?
Like, that is literally the background decay of the Big Bang that you're seeing with the snow on the TV.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, you can look that
Making it
up. It's very true.
Okay, well, that makes me feel uneasy.
You know what? Your understanding of it isn't that far, I don't think, away from what, if somebody heard electronic fog, what I would understand that to be is some sort of like ionized or electrical or somehow intensified fog that messes with instruments. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that's my understanding of snow on the TV.
So you think that it's just... Okay. We have very different understandings of snow on the TV, okay. And that is, for the most part, what the internet, and when you kind of Google it and figure it all out, most people think electronic fog is. Electronic fog resembles a grayish cloud of electromagnetic field that forms above oceans or large bodies of water. It seems to appear suddenly and inexplicably, engulfing ships and aircrafts as it is encountered. And once enveloped by this fog, electronic systems and instruments on board start malfunctioning. Navigation equipment becomes unreliable, spatial disorientation sets in, all the works there. That's kind of the main understanding of what electronic fog is.
Okay, what's it really?
We're not going to get to that yet.
Okay.
We gotta work our way through the story, because once we get to that part, it's a very different story.
Okay, I'm looking forward to finding out.
Well, I'm gonna end the episode now just so I can end on a disappointment. Just kidding.
A 5-minute episode.
This is the thing about electronic fog. I just need to make it clear. There's no scientific proof that it exists. No one has been able to study electronic fog. It's all based on anecdotal evidence. It all points towards eyewitness accounts of a fog engulfing something, screwing with the navigational materials, and then disappear. Or secondhand accounts where something disappears, people see it go into a fog but not come out. And people also kind of claim that it is an effect that's called the Hutchison effect, which has been scientifically studied, demonstrated by John Hutchison, which involves electromagnetic interactions that produce unusual phenomena. Some speculate that electronic fog could be related to this effect. There have been studies on geomagnetic anomalies, ocean currents, atmospheric conditions, aimed to shed light on unexplained events within the region of the Bermuda Triangle, but none of them have seen electronic fog to study it. I think that's the safest way to say it.
Okay.
Does that all make sense so far?
Yeah, and that, like, it's just made up.
Except for that there's anecdotal stories of it.
Like from Bermuda Triangle books.
Yeah, great way to put it.
Okay. Gotcha.
It can also be called St. Elmo's Fire, which kind of confuses me, but we'll kind of get to that at a later point.
Okay, I was just gonna say, isn't that something else?
Yeah, it is something else, which is why it confuses me. But I saw it brought up several times that it can also be called St. Elmo's Fire, so I'm just putting it here.
Okay, that's a weird thing.
Yeah, so it can be characterized by luminous glow appearing around pointed objects, such as the mast of the ship or the wings of airplanes. It occurs under specific atmospheric conditions. This is what the people studying it say, who have not actually... How do I put this where I'm saying it's not scientists saying this, but people studying it? I don't think there's a proper word for it, but we're just going to keep going.
No, I don't think there's a proper word for that.
While the term electronic fog is not universally defined across sources, it is closely related to the broader concept of fog, which is a low-lying cloud that reduces visibility to less than 5/8 statute miles due to excess moisture condensing in the air. The risk posed to pilots by electronic fog or similar atmospheric conditions stem from several factors. They lose their visual references, they have visual disorientation, they have equipment malfunction, and they have an increased risk of collision, obviously due to those 3 previous factors.
Mm-hmm.
And strangely enough, and all my readings on this and the AI search prompts that I put in, for some reason they gave me many tips for dealing with electronic fog. So in serious risk of people missing this later on in the episode by drifting off or leaving, although nobody leaves, let's face it.
No.
I'm just going to put them here now.
Impossible.
It says trust your instruments and avionics, which I feel is a terrible piece of advice when they're saying that the instruments stop working in this fog.
That seems like something AI would say.
Yeah. Calibrate and maintain your equipment. Make sure that you take instrument flying training. Recognize symptoms of spatial disorientation. Remember the acronym ICE flags: inversion, Coriolis, elevator, false, horizon, leans, autokinesis, graveyard spiral, somatogravic. To remind oneself of various types of spatial disorientation and how to counteract them. For those that need it, I'm sure that helped.
Graveyard spiral? It certainly sounds like something I need to remember. I'm in a
Make sure that you
fog.
have good sleep and hydration. Avoid alcohol and certain prescription medication. Have a familiarity with basic navigation techniques and continuously monitor and be vigilant. My God, if somebody ends up in electronic fog and is listening to this episode, I hope we saved a life through this. You are welcome.
I wonder what the odds of listening to this podcast while you're going through electronic fog is. It's not
surprisingly
zero.
not zero, yes.
It's not 0.
By implementing these measures, pilots can significantly reduce the risk of disorientation or equipment malfunction during sightings of electronic fog, ensuring safer flights. Now, I should bring this up now because it got brought up a little earlier, and we're going to bring it up again later. I'm going to talk about John Hutchinson and the Hutchison effect. So he's a Canadian scientist, actually based out of Vancouver.
Oh, nice.
And he demonstrated a similar phenomenon in his lab to electronic fog. The Hutchison effect occurs when electronic fields of different wavelengths interact, leading to strange occurrences. These include objects rising from the floor and floating, water swirling in a cup, and even objects shooting off at fantastic speeds. So he's been able to prove somewhat in a lab, according to some, that electronic fog is a natural occurrence that we could harness in at least a lab formation.
He's a scientist?
That's actually a good question. It never
Maybe.
came up in my research. We'll talk about him again later.
Okay.
So let's talk about cases then where electronic fog has been alleged to have occurred. In 1966, a tugboat captain named Don Henry was on his way from Puerto Rico to Fort Lauderdale on a clear afternoon. Suddenly, the compasses on his tugboat began to spin wildly as a strange darkness descended on him, and the horizon couldn't be seen. Water was coming in all directions, and their electrical power failed completely. Dense fog covered their tug. Luckily, the engine kept going, and they moved out of the fog. Looking back, the fog was densely concentrated in a solid block, what they described as a bank, and inside this area the sea was boiling. Outside this area the sea was calm. That's the end of that.
Okay.
Next one is a report from the British steamer, the Mohican. It's from 1904. For a length of time, the vessel was enshrouded in a strange metallic vapor, which glowed like phosphorus. The entire vessel looked as if it were afire, and the sailors flitted about the deck like glowing phantoms. The cloud had a strange magnetic effect on the vessel, for the needle of the compass revolved with the speed of an electric motor, and the sailors were unable to raise pieces of steel from the magnetized deck. Captain Urquhart described the thrilling experience, and his story is vouched for by his men of the crew. Quote, "It was shortly after the sun had gone down, and we were in latitude 37 degrees 16 minutes and longitude 72 degrees 48 minutes. The sea was almost as level as a parlor carpet, and scarcely a breeze ruffled the water. It was slowly growing dark when the lookout saw a strange gray cloud in the southeast. At first it appeared as a speck on the horizon, but it rapidly came nearer and was soon as large as a balloon." End quote. And the most important story for this episode is Bruce Gernan. According to Gernan, he departed from Andros Island in the Bahamas at 3 p.m. on December 4th, 1970, on his Bonanza A36, along with his father and his father's business associate, on a flight that would take them through the Bermuda Triangle on their way to Bimini. Along the way, the plane was engulfed by a strange cloud that appeared to be following the plane's movements forward and upward in altitude. They eventually broke free from the cloud, only to come to another similar cloud a short distance ahead of them. The exterior of the cloud appeared white, fluffy, and harmless, so Gernan continued ahead, but once inside, the interior was revealed to be dark with flashes of light indicating that they had entered a dangerous electrical storm. At 3:27 p.m., Gernan turned the plane 135 degrees, heading south in an attempt to break free from the cloud. At this point, Gernan radioed into Miami to notify them of their change in course. As Gernan attempted to flee the second cloud, he discovered to his dismay that this first cloud he escaped now appeared to be connected with the second cloud, forming a tunnel around the plane that appeared to be between 10 and 15 miles long. Gernan could see clear blue sky at the other end of his tunnel and decided that the safest course of action would be to carry on forward through the tunnel until he got to the other end. While inside the tunnel, Gernan noted that there were spiraling lines swirling in counterclockwise motions along the interior as the plane progressed toward the opening. The tunnel seemed to be continually shrinking in both length and diameter. What seemed like a 10-mile tunnel at first that should have taken only 3 minutes to pass through became a 1-mile-long tunnel that passed through in 20 seconds. As the plane crossed the edge of the tunnel, its passengers experienced a sensation of weightlessness that lasted about 10 seconds. Instead of the clear blue skies that Gernan first saw at the end of the tunnel, they were met with a blank gray haze all around them. No sky, no ocean, no horizon, absolutely nothing but grayness. Gernan described it as resembling a thick fog, except for the fact that visibility appeared to extend roughly 2 miles. When they attempted to read their location via their magnetic and electronic navigation systems, they discovered that the instruments were malfunctioning. Gernan contacted Miami Air Traffic Control again to seek their assistance in identifying their location via radar. However, Miami claimed that there were absolutely no planes visible on their radar anywhere near Miami, Bimini, and Andros. Gernan did his best to steer the plane towards his destination with nothing to go on but his own mental compass, and after a few minutes, the Miami radio controller announced that he had just spotted a plane directly over Miami Beach, heading west. Gernan did not believe that the plane the controller saw was theirs because they had only been flying for 34 minutes, and there was no way he could have reached Miami in that amount of time. It was then that the gray fog around them began to dissipate in a strange way that Gernan described as horizontal ribbons across the sky that gradually expanded until the fog was gone. With the fog gone, Gernan could see that he was in fact right over Miami Beach. With their visibility and navigation instruments restored, Gernan landed the plane at Palm Beach International Airport. The entire flight lasted a total of 48 minutes. Gernan was baffled by the experience, not only due to the weather and instrumental anomalies, but also because the apparent time loss. Even on the direct flights in the past, the trip from Andros to Palm Beach took a minimum of 75 minutes in Gernan's Bonanza A36, and this flight was anything but direct. So he halved his time from Andros to Miami.
That's a pretty
Beach.
crazy story.
Yeah.
I can't say I'd get in a plane that was the type of plane was a Bonanza.
No, that just doesn't seem like... Bonanzas seem like a fun time, not a safe time.
Yeah, I would say exactly that. That's exactly what Bonanza says.
And Chelsea, it's at this point that I need to talk about where the actual idea of the term electronic fog comes from. And it is our man, Bruce Gernan himself. And I need you to go to electronicfog.com now and take a look at it.
Because I was going to say, like, based on what they're saying is happening, I wouldn't describe that necessarily as electronic fog. This website's so bright. Okay, I'm here. Is this a Bonanza?
I assume it's a Bonanza because, man, does it come up a lot in his writing.
Okay.
Bruce Gernan is the man who coined the phrase electronic fog to describe what had occurred to him, and my god, does he have a different idea of what electronic fog is.
Okay, wow. What the hell is going on this website?
This website is not quite the 1990s Flash websites that we're used to.
I mean, it doesn't look bad.
I wouldn't describe it as a modern website either.
No, it looks better than 100% of what we look at.
It's very true, and we didn't have to go on the way back machine either. But we're going to talk about this. So first and foremost, the first thing you're hit with when you go to electronicfog.com, you got the ribbon at the top, which has all your choices, and also a very weird photo of, I assume, Bruce Gernan standing on the wing of his plane and like his
I've seen that come up a few times now.
And also there's planes flying around him, and maybe his plane's in the air too. I can't quite tell from the picture.
Oh yeah, look at all the planes around him.
Yeah. Next up, below it is just like, it's flying through some photos, which you're going to see below. They're all of planes. But then it says, welcome to Bruce Gernan's Electronic Fog. Bruce Gernan has been featured in over 60 television documentary series, radio programs about his experience in the Bermuda Triangle. His groundbreaking theory based upon first-hand experiences recounted in The Fog being the name of one of his books.
Okay.
Details a rare natural phenomenon.
Not the actual fog.
Yeah. That may be behind many of the seemingly paranormal happenings in the Bermuda Triangle, causing time distortion, pilot disorientation, and equipment malfunctions. To date, he has personally experienced the electronic fog twice over a period of 3 decades. He has researched his theory for over 50 years. It is now considered the number one for Bermuda Triangle mystery, and I don't understand that sentence.
Why is there a, like, number 1 in brackets? Like,
I
one?
know. And it should be noted, it says
out.
1 and then brackets, the number 1 and brackets.
In case, just so that there's no confusion on which one he's talking about.
Oh, not One. Got it.
Yeah, oh, right.
And Chelsea, we're going to check this out after, but I just need to say this, the next paragraph. Please check out our new animated video that helps explain the experience that he had back in 1970. His new upcoming book titled Bermuda Triangle Survivor shall be published soon and will be available to purchase on our website and on Amazon. Young readers is capitalized for some reason, and all will appreciate this book and can use it for reference book reports or interviews.
Why does it specifically first say young readers and all?
Pilot tells what he experienced in the heart of the phenomenon. Electronic fog is considered to be a meteorological based phenomenon.
Okay, AI wrote this for sure. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it gets weird in parts. Next up,
Pilot tells what he experienced.
we're gonna go to the news page.
Oh, I went to store.
No, we're not going to the store yet.
Okay.
We're going to news page. Because, of course, first thing on the news page is Bruce Gernan's biography.
Okay. Oh my god, there's another one with a number written out and then bracketed with the numerical number.
And no, most importantly, I love this, Chelsea. He's a world-leading expert, author, and renowned researcher and theorist for the Bermuda Triangle. He has published 4, bracket 4, close bracket, books. And he has appeared in over 50, bracket 60, number, close bracket, television documentaries, episodes from Discovery Channel, Science Channel, BBC, ABC, CW Network, Travel and History Channel. Oh, man. You gotta love that he took away the ambiguity of writing 50 down by putting that 60 there.
Put a different number in brackets, yep.
And that's why I don't think AI wrote these. Best known as the pilot who, quote, holds the key to the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle, end quote, the only living witness to tell his story about being trapped in a tunnel vortex that almost swallowed his small single-engine Bonanza A-36 plane. The world-leading expert witness who has seen the fabric of time during his flight back in 1970 returning from Andros Island. A scientific breakthrough theory called, quote, electronic fog, end quote, has captured many minds of professors, mainstream scientists, and physicists. Professor David Paris has researched Bruce Gernan's famous flight. Link available for his website. You know what? I did not check out that website. I am now very interested about this, and I guarantee you it's going to go to a dead site.
Why?
No, it's not a dead site, but my god, it's going to be its own episode. Because that is a 90s website if I've ever seen one with nothing loaded.
My computer can't even deal with this website. It's too advanced.
He recently conducted laboratory experiments demonstrating the existence of a microspace warp, explored the concept of linear displacement, check out his documents, the science behind Bruce Gernan's flight. And remember, Chelsea, this is the news portion of his website. We're going to scroll down a little more. We have a few emails that we can send them. And then right below that...
What is this?
This is his rates for appearing on a TV documentary, a TV interview, a photograph with him, and to charter his plane.
Does he appear in any of these?
Yeah, for the low price of $5,000, if you are doing a TV documentary, you can bring Bruce Gernan onto it. And Chelsea, I'd want to welcome right now to the podcast, Bruce Gernan. Is what I would be saying right now if you listening would pay us anything, but we can't.
Even if you did, they're not going to pay us $5,000. And we're not going to blow it up. We might blow it on Bruce.
I might. I have so many questions for this guy. So, Chelsea, this is Bruce Gernan, the guy who claims to have actually created it. Nobody else online claims to have created the idea of electronic fog, and I can't find, outside of him claiming it, anybody talking about it. So this is what electronic fog actually is when you're talking about it, is what
but
he says.
I have so many
is.
questions about, has he appeared on a TV documentary? Does anybody actually pay him $5,000 to?
I don't know if he was bitten in the past, so he said, no, I have to put it up front. Or if people have actually paid it. It's hard to say at this point.
Like, why not wait for the email and then send them this chart? But I love how it's called product name and then the description. And then the bulk price is the same as all the retail unit prices.
And also, it's much cheaper to charter his plane and ask him the questions.
And have him for a documentary. Yeah.
Just getting him to sit down and answer questions.
Like, much, much cheaper. Much cheaper.
Like a quarter of the price.
Yes.
And I don't know what means animated videos, 15 to 30 seconds. $500 a video.
I don't know what that means either. It's bizarre. This is weird.
Next up, we're going to just head to his store for a quick second.
Yeah,
so that you can just see
there.
the majesty that is the one shirt that they offer.
First of all, I like how it's just like prices are there first.
And first and foremost, they have it right at the top. Before you even get to see the shirt, they got to tell you the price. And unfortunately, if you're on the smaller end, and by smaller end, I mean medium to large, they don't offer a small or below in any way.
Sold out.
Medium to large is sold out.
That leaves size extra large to extra, extra large.
Yep. So you got your prices right there. You know what you're getting into before you even see the shirt.
Sold out, hey? These beauties are sold out.
Of course, we got what I assume has to be the Bonanza, flying into whatever he flew into, I guess.
Yeah.
Saying right below it.
I gotta say, it's a really odd shape of graphic. Right across the chest. It's like an oval.
No, it looks fine. Don't you see the people on the right? Looks great on.
Oh no, I see them. And do you see the font, the words on it? Enter the Bermuda Triangle. And on the back it says travel through time.
It also seems like there's a watermark on there, and it says something about the fog.
Oh yeah, it does. On both.
Yeah.
The fog.
And it really seems like they photoshopped in the plane flying through in the wrong color on the back of the... Anyhow, I'm sorry. We should get back to this episode.
I always love a good look at a website.
If anybody wants to make up the fact that they didn't give us money to interview this guy on our podcast, please buy us this shirt. Worst case scenario, we'll use it as a tent. Chelsea, I need to take you now to the Bermuda Files videos link on here. This takes us to the YouTube page for this guy. And Chelsea...
Oh, TV documentaries. Hold on, I need to see how many paid him $5,000.
He's been on History Channel and Discovery. He's actually, I've seen this guy before.
Okay, to the video.
And I've seen electronic fog speculated on both these channels on episodes of whatever in the past.
What's this one guy taking a picture of?
Chelsea, most importantly, we need to go to videos for them because we need to go to their YouTube channel.
Bermuda Files YouTube channel?
Yeah. And Chelsea, first and foremost... I think this is the first guy we've looked at who we have a similar internet following too. And I don't understand how. This guy has been on History and Discovery Channel. He has 203 subscribers.
Does he upload regularly?
Well, his newest video was published 9 days ago. How old is his oldest video? He's been on YouTube for a year. So I guess it's not that bad. He's, I guess, behind us, but he's got more followers, so whatever.
Are we gonna watch one of these?
We're gonna watch one of them, but I just want to talk to you about it first.
Okay, fair enough.
His videos have 160 views, 250, 600 views. I think our best episode actually has better viewership than his best episode.
I can't say electronic fog is it's kind of a cool topic, but
it just boggles my mind. Anyhow, this guy's going to explain. Chelsea, on his main YouTube page, his first video that starts auto-playing is the one we're going to look at together, okay? And we're going to listen to this guy get together.
Let's do that.
Hello, this is Bruce Gernan. This thumbnail shows the two magazine covers from 1948 and 2005 when my first book about the Bermuda Triangle came out. The second magazine shows me flying an airplane about to enter a thunderstorm vortex tunnel in 1970.
He uses the term picture and drawing interchangeably. So just the way he describes this throughout this video that is 7 minutes long, it's going to be hilarious. He doesn't describe it as an artist's rendition.
After I survived flying through that tunnel, I was given credit for coining the term electronic fog. Obviously, the Bermuda Triangle mystery is not solved yet, but I feel confident that the thunderstorm vortex tunnels and electronic fog will someday be known as the main components of the mystery. This still shot shows the dates of when I experienced a space warp. Notice they are the same date and time, but my plane is 80 miles apart. This is not possible, but with quantum entanglement teleportation, it would be possible. The event horizon is a boundary beyond which events cannot affect an observer. So I theoretically traveled 80 miles in an instant, and it had no
I'm sorry, just
on
listen to how he describes this.
Flying through the tunnel is where I feel the space-time warp took effect. I could actually see the fabric of time changing when entering the tunnel, and it lasted for 20 seconds. It should have taken around 3 minutes. When I exited the tunnel, I felt a strange feeling of zero gravity and hydroplaning, as if the tunnel had spit us out, and it lasted for about 10 seconds. Was I speeding up or slowing down? Similar to these elements, was the tunnel connected 80 miles ahead on the other end of the tunnel, and we came out only 10 miles offshore from Miami?
And I just love that. He described them as still shots, and they were very clearly just drawings.
And
I don't know how.
Can you hydroplane in a plane?
I don't think so. No, that's not true. Sorry, because they have the float planes. And Chelsea, this part right here is truly what separates our understanding of electronic fog, just kind of what you would hear and think it is, from what he actually means by electronic fog.
I've been working with a scientist named Professor David Paris for over a decade now, and he believes when I came out of the tunnel, I was transported inside what is known as a warp bubble drive. This was created by a scientist named Miguel Albuquerque, and this diagram shows how it works. The space in front contracts and the space behind expands. It's like surfing on a wave of space-time. This is done by wrapping the space around the ship and creating a bubble of space-time that would go faster than light and travel through time. When I was inside the tunnel, it looked and felt as if we were going faster than normal, but inside the electronic fog, speed seemed normal. If this is what happened to us, we would have been traveling close to 2,000 miles an hour to reach Miami in only 3 minutes. And NASA is developing an Albuquerque warp drive. This colorful and beautiful video shows what it might look like when a spaceship flies through the universe inside a warp bubble. These diagrams of wormholes that I have explained on some of my other videos, this is what I think I flew through. Professor Paris and I have been together on many TV documentaries about the Bermuda Triangle, And this is a clip from one of those videos where he is explaining what happens to space-time when it's compressed.
Let's put a piece of paper up onto our screen. Point A, point B. Now let's take the piece of paper and now fold it. And now we're crossing point A to B, but obviously it's a far less distance to cross to these 2 points as it is with the paper stretched out. And this essentially is what space warp is about, the compression of the fabric of space.
So, Chelsea, that is the rendition of Bruce Gernan's idea of what electronic fog is, which, if you coin the phrase, I guess is technically what it should be.
Well, I did find out by watching that he most definitely did write his website.
Oh, yes.
And
And
so-
also that it definitely happened because there's photos of it.
Yeah.
There's still shots from this event. Just so we're all on the same page, there are wormholes in electronic fog that just like move us anywhere in the world, apparently. But for him, just made it like kind of weirdly fast to get somewhere. Like, you know, when your commute home is usually an hour with traffic, but there's no traffic one day and you get home and it was only like 25 minutes. You're like, wait, it should have taken 40 minutes even without traffic.
Yeah.
That's basically his story.
That sounds exactly. I mean, it wasn't that much missing time, was it?
No, it was, he said maybe it like, took half the time it should have. And in any event, we haven't talked about the fact that he doesn't bring up anybody from air traffic control on either end to confirm the times. Or two, that there couldn't be some sort of error in what time he left or what time he got there.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Or was he always just taking the long way to get there?
And the fog forced him the straight path.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the original idea of electronic fog and it can mess with digital clocks.
Ah.
He left at like 12:15 and it restarted at 12. Maybe something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so many possibilities.
But no, this guy is all in on electronic fog is a wormhole that shoots you through things faster. And yeah, that apparently is what electronic fog is, not just messing with electronics.
And he's the only guy that talks about electronic fog.
There's people that talk about electronic fog. He's the only one who kind of describes himself as like the first-hand account and the pioneer of studying it.
Oh, okay. Is he studying it or just like...
Well, apparently
having
this
cartoons
professor
go
I
at?
need to look at is studying it. He has not put time into his website. He's put all his time into research.
Hold on. It literally just suspended in front of my eyes. A website for this guy.
Okay, well, I still have that. I still have
Suspended.
access, so
If
we'll
this
see.
is your domain, contact your service provider for more information.
Wait, there's a button for skip to content. Oh. Yeah, oh, fuck. Oh, it's only if you click on anything it's suspended. Damn it.
Okay. Well, you were right.
Chelsea, you should know that this isn't the only area of the world that apparently experiences electronic fog. Lake Michigan apparently also has experiences with it, and the South China Sea.
Oh, okay.
I should say, I was not able to look into any experiences in the South China Sea. Apparently they don't exist as far as my research can find, or my searching online can find. So, it's
they
just
do
one of those,
mention it.
like, yeah, it's one of those things that just kind of comes up. So, whatever.
We do find things like that.
Lake Michigan does have the Lake Michigan Triangle, which we'll probably do at a later date, so I don't want to spoil anything with this. However, Lake Michigan is prone to fog. It's called... Shoot, I closed it. It's a specific kind of fog that it's prone to just because it's a freshwater body and it experiences fog whenever the air temperature is going to be lower than the water temperature, which is going to be very common in a northern latitude. And,
Hold on. What does other fog come from? There's other reasons for fog?
Well, yeah, land fog has different reasons than water fog.
Are they made up of different things?
No, they're both going to be made up of water, but
Okay.
the reason they would happen is just different.
The reason they happen is different. Okay.
And secondly, it's also kind of commonly understood that there are magnetic deviations and declinations in Lake Michigan, which leads to it actually having some magnetic anomalies occur. So, like, actually navigating on Lake Michigan, you should be an experienced voyager.
Okay, weird.
So, like, that in itself, I guess technically, our understanding of electronic fog is, yeah, that would meet the definition, I guess.
That would meet my definition. Not this guy. Who's this guy again?
Bruce Gernan.
Yep. Yep.
But he's got a shirt. And whoever just told me that, I couldn't find a shirt to buy from them.
Oh, we could fucking make a shirt. And on the front it'll say, this is electronic fog, not fucking Bruce Gurney's.
Yeah.
What is it called again?
Bruce Gernan.
His freaking good time plate.
Oh, it's a Bonanza?
Yeah, it is Bonanza.
Okay, Chelsea, to finish this off, I brought up that the electronic fog is an example of the Hutchison effect in the natural world, correct?
Oh yeah, you said that, yeah.
The Rational Wiki has a great article on the Hutchison effect that we're going to read from now.
Okay.
While attempting to recreate the experiments of Nikola Tesla in the late 1970s, Hutchison claims to have discovered new phenomena, including effects manifesting in metal. The effects of his experiments supposedly included metal objects floating to the ceiling, shattering, melting, while keeping enclosing wood cool, fusing with other objects and other interesting manifestations. These disparate manifestations are all being lumped together under the name Hutchison effect. Explanations of the effect rely heavily on technobab, especially referencing zero-point energy and the Casimira. In particular, Hutchison claims to have invented batteries, called crystal batteries or Hiroshima cells, which are capable of creating free energy. This purported technology revolution, which he says has the potential to change the world around us, is yet another example of Hutchison's extraordinary effects. It's certainly odd, too, when one considers the fact that no other scientific breakthrough has ever been blocked in such a way in democratic countries such as Canada, and that making such breakthroughs should make a person a billionaire. No attempt to replicate Hutchison's experiments by a third party has so far been successful. Many agencies, including NASA, have attempted to recreate the Hutchison effect after extensive testing. Mark Millis, NASA's head of finding new propulsion methods for spacecrafts, wrote, "The Hutchison effect has been claimed for years without any independent verification, ever. In fact, its originator can't even replicate it on demand. This has been investigated more than once, been part of documentaries on the Discovery Channel, but still never seems to pass critical muster. This is in the category of folklore. In general, the quote, American Anti-Gravity, end quote, website caters to such folklore and its enthusiasts. Hutchison himself has claimed to replicate the results numerous times prior to 1991, while admitting some footage he has released since, at $100 per tape, was faked, as he is no longer able to recreate the effects. He assumed that nobody would notice that the levitating objects were actually falling in front of an upside-down camera, or held up with invisible strings.
Oh,
Which
no.
he had really tried to convince his audience were cords supplying power to the levitating object. As Hutchison said, the string is not string, but number 32 gauge double polythermalized wire on a take-up reel with 20 to 50,000 volts DC. The main apparatus was turned on, causing the toy plastic UFO to fly all about in amazing gyration. This was a pre-test to Griffin Films airing this fall for Fox TV. I did not need the extra high voltage 2000 time period, so the toy levitated without a high voltage hookup. During the filming for Griffin, there was a string on the toy, no high voltage DC, but interesting movements. Tim Ventura later removed this explanation from the American Anti-Gravity website and claimed that Hutchison got creative with the video footage because the EPA won't let him do experiments anymore.
Oh my god.
The levitation event is mockingly reproduced by Ace Baker and Bill Beatty. When asked why he's unable to demonstrate the results of his experiments anymore, Hutchison claims he has been coerced and had his work destroyed by the government, which then used his technology, Chelsea, wait for it, to do 9/11.
Right. I was gonna go with HARP.
Nope, 9/11.
Why I say that after you already told me the answer. Not sure. 9/11. Makes sense.
But yeah, that's what I got for electronic fog. It is there is so much going on behind of that 2-word reference that you put in that episode 2 years ago.
I'm glad that Hutchison, you let us like bask in that a little bit before you actually let us down.
I feel really bad for the people who we got through the Gernan explanation. They say, but it's similarity to the Hutchison effect. Surely that will hold up. And I guess in a way it did.
I quite enjoyed that episode. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I always enjoy a good website look.
Yeah, especially whenever we're dealing with an asshole. I'm kind of torn on whether or not to consider Gernan an asshole or not. For the most part, he seems like a good pilot. He was licensed to serve with the Coast Guard. He's been flying for like over 40 years, so I don't know.
In theory, pilots are the ones that you want to give like They're credible.
And especially if you need a pilot, it's a reasonable rate if you're going to compare it to bringing them on a documentary.
It's true. Which makes me question how good of a pilot he could be.
Yeah, actually, you know what? We need to go watch his documentaries he's been on, and then say, okay, he's only as quarter of a good as a pilot.
And where is he going to take me if I pay him to be a pilot?
Well, we're going to be in Florida, so he's going to take us between Florida A and Florida B, is my guess, on the Bonanza.
Hopefully. Well, I don't know. I'm paying good money. I want him to take me there not, like, freakishly fast through a time warp or something.
You know what? That's going to be the awkward part. We're going to start interviewing him. We're going to get there too fast, and he's going to say goodbye. But yeah, I was a little worried when I was like, I'm not getting anything from this. And then I realized I needed to fully embrace Bruce Gernan's website to make this episode full. And by God,
you nailed it. Well, thank you for letting us know. Wait, so is it real or not? Did we get there?
scientists have never agreed that it's a real thing. It's never been studied properly.
Right,
in
you
a
started
lab
off
or
with that.
otherwise. Yeah. Much less, that's only talking about the idea of what we kind of thought to begin with is what electronic fog is.
Boy, was I wrong.
And at the end of the day, fogs are just clouds. And an electronic cloud is a thunderstorm.
Oh, you're right.
And people fly through thunderstorms all the time. It's not
You're
going to
right.
transport you anywhere.
Yeah, it's like a zappy cloud. Thunderstorm.
So I understand it could definitely exist, I think, but I don't think it's going to transport you through space and time
Not a thunderstorm, no.
in any
nice,
way
though.
that wouldn't be the regular passage of it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay, I enjoyed that. Thank you.
good. Anything you want to bring up at this point?
No, nothing that I want to bring up.
Okay. Well, I have been Taylor here at Chelsea. We are Journey to the Fringe. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Journey to the Fringe. If you have liked what you have listened to, please like, share, subscribe, or follow, depending on what venue you are listening to us through. Also, please, if possible, leave a 5-star review, as that really helps us in the algorithms. Should you wish to interact with us, please check us out on your social media of choice. I bet you we are there. And if you really want to communicate with us and give us ideas for new episodes or tell us that we're wrong and terrible, either way, please send us an email at journeytothefringe@gmail.com. For now, I'll see you in the next episode.